Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Meadow Grove Farm. This is a new version of Meadow Grove to what I was using before, so it's kind of a new start, with new starter equipment. More's not fully unfolded. So we're using Mattxjs' Modern Classics DLC because I'm in love with this. And we're using the small equipment, much like we've got much the same equipment as on Sandy Bay in the streams at the moment. And a little bit of information for you guys. Sandy Bay is going to be stream only, and Meadow Grove is going to be video only. So we'll get a different look at this equipment as we go on. Now, the first thing I wanted to do on this map, if you haven't guessed, is mow, because I was looking at what we start off with. We start off with cows. We start off with hay, straw bales, and we start off with silage bales. We do not seemingly start off with hay bales. So that's kind of the first thing I want to make, and we're going to use the beautiful sounding Hollinger mower that I've been using on Sandy Bay. It is small, but it works really well. And it fits this equipment really nicely. It's not city big, it's not city small. It's something that I would expect case max at 5150, and I am using, by the way, the Pro Black version. Because everybody's using the red ones, I've noticed. Everybody's using just bog standard red Maxims. So I figured I'd be a bit, well, everybody I've seen, at least. I'm sure there's somebody out there using a black one in videos, so don't shout at me for that. But almost everybody I've seen is using the red Maxim. So I decided to go with the Black Pro 5150. And, you know, a bit of difference. I've also got the fast track, and I've also got the little Massey, the stump Massey as I've dubbed it, after the shenanigans on Sandy Bay the other day. Apologies for no stream yesterday, by the way. I was busy setting up this map, and I was presuming wrongly that Simulate would stream at 6. Woke up a bit later than I thought, because I thought I'd be able to stream 4 till 6. And it wasn't until almost 5 o'clock that I was set at my PC. So I spent the time that I would have been streaming setting up this map instead. There is going to be a second map that is going to be videos and streams. And I was setting that up and ran into some weird issues that I'd never seen before, so I'm gonna have a bit more investigation time in that and see what the hell was causing that problem. I think a mod I have is causing shenanigans on that map, so I'm gonna be very picky with what I start with. The map I'm gonna go to also will be using classics, but it won't be exclusively classics. The reason that I'm kind of using the classics so much at the moment is I think, or the modern classics, I think these are kind of, I don't want to say perfect, but very, very strong candidates for the best starter equipment in the game, that you can get through Giants. Because, granted, with the mowers and stuff and some of the equipment in game, they don't really have stuff to use, but in terms of the challenge they present, because everything's small, everything's not very powerful, you gotta think about that and make compromises with maybe your plans for the map. You know, let's say you start off on Oakfield with these. You can't really go off and do the standard Oakfield things, which is harvest everything straight away, and well, you could, but it'll take a while, so you're gonna have to maybe think about, well, do I want to mow first, or do I want to get a field harvested and baled up and see if I can afford a bigger tractor then? And granted, you know, to get these into Oakfield or any map, you're going to have to use a money cheat. Disable the money cheat, and suddenly the map's a lot more challenging, because you're sat there looking at what you have, and you'll notice that I'll do this on Sandy Bay a lot during the streams, is I'll sit there looking at what I've got and thinking, okay, well, what's the optimal way that I can make money from this stuff? And my current idea I don't know if it's going to work or not. This is the fun of my Sandy Bay Challenge series. The fun of that is I don't know if it's going to work. If it fails, I've lost some money and I'm in a worse predicament. At the time of recording this, obviously before today's stream, the money's negative, but we've got crops coming in soon, and we're working on... I haven't said this in a stream yet, but this is the plan that I have, filling up a silage silo to maybe get some stuff over to the BGA and get some easy money together. Now the reason that I'm not using the BGA silos is because I want to, or over in Sandy Bay, I want to kind of, I've been doing this the entire time kind of unofficially. I'm limiting myself to just that yard as much as I can. Obviously some stuff is going to have to be used in other yards, just by nature of, well, that's where the stuff is going to have to go. Like, I can't magically make the cows appear in the yard that I'm using. I've got to make use of the actual cow yard, and likewise I can't move the sheep magically into the yard. They're in the field nearby. But you'll notice that whenever I move the equipment into those areas, that it always gets moved back, because I feel it's more of a challenge to keep your equipment in one place. By the way, on this map, I've decided to do a bit of a challenge again. Just while I'm thinking about challenges. And the challenge I've laid for myself on this map is that I'm not going to make any square bales at all. I'm going to do a map entirely with round bales, which I'm not going to enjoy, most likely, when it comes to dealing with them, but it's something that I haven't done in a long time, is just limit myself to round bales. Usually I'll limit myself to square bales because they're a lot easier to work with. But limiting to rounds suddenly makes life a lot more difficult. You might notice, by the way, that I'm missing a lot with this mower because I'm driving terribly today, and I apologise. I do still need to do the outer headland, which I'll do at the end of this, when we're finished mowing. I am going to try and get to actually baling today as well, which may prove difficult with the equipment that I've got, which you'll see when we get into the yard, which is just over the road there. I'll show off all the equipment we have. I figured cold start, or hot start, I can't remember which way is. Start off with the action, then go into the boring stuff, instead of being sat in menus, or, you know, just wandering around for 10 minutes before anything of interest actually happens. I felt like, no, let's start off in the field doing a bit of work, and then we'll do the more boring stuff, because I don't think you guys have seen the new car yard on this map, because Nathan has reworked it from the version that's on FSUK, and I quite like the new cow yard. There's some other stuff that Nathan's working on another update for the testers, which I'm one of them for some bizarre reason. Nathan, you're a lunatic. But with the mowing done, and badly, is there room to do an outer? I'm not going to do an outer headland. It's just not the room. Let's have a look at the equipment I have decided to go with on this map. Obviously, you can see the fast track there. Nothing really of interest over here. You can see that I've got the Mattxjs 2000 that's poking through the wall there. We have the TX34 Combine. I'm just going to hop out and show you the HS 2000 so you can believe that I wasn't lying. There it is. Got the class round baler. We got a feed mixer, the Marston trailers from Bill, the header for the TX34. We got the full TX34. We've got my beloved load all with a bale fork and a manure fork, a single rotor windrower, which is why I'm saying I don't know if we'll quite get to baling today, a tether, Massey, and the sprayer that I'm loving with the classics. I was going to use something else, but that's where I've really just kind of grown to love with the Classics DLC. And the Seeder and Cultivator from the Classics DLC, the Modern Classics. I apologize. I should probably give them the correct name. But I'm genuinely, and for the first time in a while, very, very interested in just kind of using equipment that's small and borderline useless in the game. Normally I'll go with bigger stuff because it's faster. Now I want to use smaller stuff because it's more fun. And this is a style of playing that I haven't really done in a while. So it might get a bit interesting when I start maybe getting a bit angry at the equipment or something. Because it will not be the fastest. Especially not with that windrower. And I dislike the way that windrower works. So there might be some fun there. I do, however, have an auto-load trailer. I'm not doing the Sandy Bay challenge here as well. Don't worry. I've got an auto-load trailer. It is actually a truck. I've decided to go with the Tatra truck from the Fleagle pack. Just because it's going to make it a bit easier to pick up bales. And it looks 90s-ish, so I'm not counting it as overly cheating. Even though it is kind of cheating in a way. It's just something that makes my life a bit easier. That's the way I'm looking at it. And oh my god, the tether is just not behaving the way that I want it to. Maybe I should take these corners a bit tighter like that. There we go. So we're going to ted this field, we're going to windrow this field as much as we can today. And that's a field def issue right there, which I think this is a version that has the older field defs in. If not, Nathan, if you're watching, there's an issue in field 40 down by the corner with field 39. I'll have to double check which one is which now. But the new car yard, it's not overly different from the way it was before. You know, some of you guys might recognize bits and pieces of it, some of you guys might not, but it is a new yard for the most part. The changes Nathan made have made it so that you can get taller equipment through, which I appreciate because it's kind of annoying, or it was kind of annoying with the Crone rig not being able to pull it through the yard properly, and having to use the lower entrance to the yard, which, you know, is a thing you can do if you really want to. Let's run this backwards. It used to be a thing in FS15 where if you ran backwards through hay like that, it would just disintegrate, but not in FS17, which is definitely a nice change that has been made. The game's just going to shout at me that I don't own the field no matter what I do there, so that's going to remain untethered apparently. You can see that this tether is making pretty light work of the field. We're tedding 2 rows at once, which is definitely lovely. I could have got a hay bob and done 1 row at once, but I felt that was maybe a bit too extreme for videos. Would have taken a bit too long. So as much as I love hay bobs, I've decided to go without one for this series. There's certain equipment that, even when I'm playing with small stuff, is maybe a bit too small. And already we're almost done with this field. It's just kind of, you know, it's a small field, field 40. You can see it on the map there. It's not the biggest, but big enough that you can take a bit of time with it if you want to. You can, you know, if you're really impatient, you can come in with a big M and do it in 2 seconds flat if you want to. But it's, I think, at least, the size of field where you want to be using maybe smaller stuff. Just, you know, kind of. Actually, this entire map is, Landy keeps calling it like a small big map or a big small map. it's the kind of map where you want to use small equipment, and then you just keep using it and keep using it and keep buying more fields, and then suddenly you realize, hang on, my equipment's too small now for what I own. In terms of the fields, suddenly I need larger equipment. But it doesn't look right on the fields, so you kind of run into the problem of, well, do I get more small stuff and just courseplay it, or do I get bigger stuff and have it look silly in the middle of the field? And one thing I've noticed, I think a lot of people have as well, because I've seen a lot of people praising Nathan for this, is Nathan's unintentionally been a genius in how he's made this map. Because this map, despite coming out before the Modern Classics DLC, fits the Modern Classics DLC perfectly. The equipment size that you realistically want on this map, for it to be legit, is the Modern Classics DLC. And Nathan, unintentionally, because this is kind of the style of map he likes making, and I've unintentionally nailed it and got the fields, the sizes where you don't really want to be using much more than the TX34. Or the grass fields, you don't want to be going overly big. We're going to use the little 390T to windrow as well, because I haven't really used this for field work at all. On Sandy Bay I used it as a front loader exclusively, but this thing can go out into the fields and can work equipment, as you can see. So let's show a little 390 bit of love. And yes, I have got equipment just inside a silage pit because I ran out of space in the yard as a whole. I've also decided, by the way, if you didn't guess already by the fact that almost all my equipment's in that yard, that I'm going to base myself out of the cow yard as kind of a bit of a fun mini challenge for myself. Obviously with crops I will have to use the storage at the usual main arable yard, but for like equipment storage I'm going to try as much as possible to use the cow yard. Just kind of for my own entertainment more than anything else. So it's windrowing time already. We're 20 minutes into this video already. We've done 2 jobs entirely. We're on to the 3rd. There have been 0 edits, which I am particularly proud of. I want to apologise, by the way, for yesterday's video being only 20 minutes long, or thereabouts. What happened was, and I edited this out so you wouldn't have heard it, I was handed a cup of tea about 10 minutes into recording and kind of didn't realise that I'd only recorded 10 minutes. Thought I'd done 15 because I estimated based on the size of the field I was doing and the amount of time it took me to do the second field because I didn't bother checking times, and as a result I mucked up my timing and the video was a lot shorter than I would have liked. I would have liked that to be about half an hour. So I will apologise for that. It was my bad. I did a dumb thing. But it's not the end of the world. I am, however, considering not continuing that series, the Cobra Realistic series, because somebody else has decided to do a very, very similar thing, and I get the distinct feeling people will start saying, oh, I'm copying that person, regardless of what the actual truth of the matter is, and I don't want to start causing trouble, so I might try and come up with a new idea that hopefully won't get stolen by somebody or other, you know, 4 or 5 days in. But, I might come up with a new series idea that, I might do kind of a second challenge series, video only, where I have some odd rules, like a horsepower restriction, which, well, it was a rule somebody was saying that they were glad I was not using them in Sandy Bay Challenge. I might do that on a different map, or I might have an age restriction on the tractors where they have to be you know, this old or older. Because I think one of the great joys of farm sim is if you want classic equipment and older style equipment, well, it doesn't come with the game as much as it used to. That's mainly down to licensing. The modding community, holy cow, do they go ham with the old stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of new equipment modded in as well, like the new JCB 4000 and 7000s are modded in. John Deere's, all of them. You know, different Mattxjs, different Fence, different New Hollands, different everything are modded in, but for stuff that you just can't get in the base game that's modded in, I think the real stars of the modding community are the guys that make the classics. Peter J, Mattxjs, Nishma to a certain extent, although the abbeys that Nishma's working on are still commercially available. They are not as used anymore. Well, they are still very heavily used, but they're not as kind of commercially big as maybe they used to be. And then you get the guys who make local equipment to them, or, you know, equipment that a lot of people want. Again, Peter J comes into this discussion where he's made a lot of Makin equipment and British style equipment despite not being from the UK himself. Spoiler alert for anybody who didn't know that, he's not British. But that doesn't stop him from being a part of the British farm sim community. And being much loved by people. You got people like, although I've had some personal issues with them, CD models, 4D modding, you know, they make equipment that people want to use, and I can't knock them for it. Downside with a lot of mods that are classics and a lot of stuff that people want to use, unfortunately, as is evidenced on the Facebook community, is sometimes those mods aren't particularly high quality. And sometimes the modders don't like criticism, which is a bit of a shame because criticism is how you improve. Like, I enjoy people saying constructively that I could have done something better, or I should have done this, or could have done that, and I'll usually look at those comments and say, well, I can see why they think that, but and maybe I'll try it out, but the way I do it I like. I won't knock people for criticizing how I go about stuff, because sometimes how I go about stuff is wrong, and I know for a fact, by the way, that the way that I'm windrowing here is wrong. But this is the way I'm doing it, because this is a way that makes sense to me. And I wouldn't be too surprised if there's a farmer in real life, before somebody cries realism, that does it exactly like this. I now want to go on a mini rant, because I've just thought of something that I found hilarious in Sims Discord that was brought into the admin room, so nobody would have known about this. Simulate's Discord is quiet at the best times, but Simulate started a series on Craig recently, using the Modern Classics DLC. Somebody took issue with that, claiming that he was copying Daggerwin. Now, that's that person's opinion, that's fine. That's not true though, because Daggerwin was using a modded 5150 for the longest time, and mods like that tend not to be the highest quality, I'm afraid. Again, it comes down to the classic stuff. Can be great or can be terrible. There's very little in between. But some of the more popular comments Sim gets, and he reads them to us in TeamSpeak, by the way, before anybody thinks that, you know, we're all just I'm ripping for no reason. Sim reads some of the comments that he finds annoying or funny or somewhere in between. a lot of the comments that he gets seem to be, can you do this because Daggerwind's doing it? Without mentioning Daggerwind, but, you know, can you use this? And then Sim looks at what it is and, oh, Daggerwind's using it. Or can you do it this way? And Sim looks and, oh, Daggerwind does it that way. And it may well be the same group of people that complain about people copying Daggerwind when they want to see the person doing things the same way with the same equipment as Daggerwind. And to those people I say, you know you can watch a YouTube video twice, right? There's no limit on watching it, because if you want to watch the same video twice, you can. If you want to watch this video twice, because you're insane, you can. There's no magic button that deletes the video after you've watched it. You can watch it as many times as you like. You know, I've watched some videos on YouTube 10, 11, 12 times, and that's because I really enjoy them, and I like the humor, and I like the editing that's been done, or I find them interesting, or something. You know, something's grabbed me to the point where I just want to keep seeing the same video. I don't tell other people to go make the video, I watch the same one. Because I want to see the thing I liked. Which isn't somebody else trying to do the thing I liked, it's the thing that I liked in the first place. By the way, something Nathan's done, which I really like, is he has started off with bales. You get a buttload of or straw bales. I can't find any hay bales, however. I don't know if Nathan's forgotten them, or if I'm not looking hard enough, but I can't find any hay bales in the cow yard, so that's why I'm baling today as well. Or at least I'm gonna start. I'm looking at the time, and we are running a bit short, but we'll get started on the hay bales. We'll get 2 or 3 made. Who knows, we might get the entire field done. This fast track is in the fastest configuration. It's the 75 km/h engine config. I'm just going to pass through some magic stuff here real quick. La-di-da-di-da, you see nothing. Let's get the baler unfolded, on and down, and away we go. I'm yet to find something that these modern classics don't look good in front of. And even on the Roland, the fast track, which I've never seen pulling a Roland before. So the people who want to call realism, this is probably your chance, but I wouldn't be too surprised if somebody somewhere uses a fast track on a Roland. Never seen this equipment combination before. But do you know what? Looks pretty good. I know for certain that Bullet Bill's Marstons, which is why I've got a Marston on this map, I know for a fact that they look good on the back of pretty much the entire DLC. Anything British or Irish in general will probably look good on the back of the DLC, especially if it's small to medium sized and of a certain age. You know, within the last 20 years probably. Nothing too modern. And ideally nothing that's badly scaled, which surprising amount of equipment is. By the way, this is the Clash Roland that was edited by, I want to say it was Farm, who by the way has brought out a set of rollers yesterday on FSUK, 10-foot rollers. I will have them on this map. I just slipped my mind when I was buying the starter equipment to get them, so I can show you them right here in the weeder section. Gray's 10-foot rollers, 3 meters. They act as a weeder, but they're rollers. You can get them in used or brand new configurations. I will be getting them used because they're rusty and I like the used look. Now, I've known about them for a little while, so I've been really looking forward to getting them. Because, if you guys think about it, Sandy Bay could do with some rolling for the grass, could it not? And rollers just look good. It just looks nice having a working set of rollers instead of the kind of semi-placeable rollers that a lot of people use and go to the trouble of getting them to attach to tractors that don't do anything. Which is 90% of the mods that I see on Facebook. Because I am in the Facebook communities, by the way. I lurk in them. But I am in them, which is why I keep talking about them. And my new complaint is the mod quality they have is just a steaming pile of manure. Good lord, people, get some quality control in your mods. I've seen people complaining about this is something that pickles my brain a bit. This is something that annoys me. People complaining about the quality of mods on consoles, and the words I've seen written down is, well, why don't consoles get any of the good mods? I'm sorry? I wasn't aware the console got only the really badly modeled ones that have no standards and don't work and have a million scripts that can conflict with each other. I thought consoles had, you know, I was under the impression that consoles had a much higher standard for mods than PC, which they do, so the mods on console are objectively better than the ones on PC. Oh, your argument's falling apart already. After looking at that for a couple of minutes, I realized what the person was actually saying is, why don't consoles have the really bad mods? The ones that you constantly see in the Facebook communities that have textures that look like they might have been drawn by a 5-year-old. Scripts that don't work. Stuff that makes no sense whatsoever, like 17 Grassmen stickers and 3 light bars, 7 extra beacons, and a potato instead of an exhaust. And go faster stripes, just for luck. That's what the people who complain about, oh, there's no good mods on console, that's what they want. They don't care about the actually fantastic quality mods that are on console. Because those mods have to reach, basically, Giant's quality. They've got to be the same quality as what you get with the base game, more or less. So how are they bad mods? Are they bad because you're not interested in them? In which case, that's just personal preference. You know, a better question would be, why are there no mods I like on console? Is it because I'm too picky? Yeah, I could ask the same thing about maps at the moment. Why am I struggling to find a good, map that I enjoy? It's because I'm super picky. And on that note, I'm gonna have to end the video here because I've just been handed food and we're out of time anyway. So I'll leave you by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching Meadow Grove Farm and Farming Simulator 17. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back next time, and until then, stay safe and goodbye.